What's up, y'all? This is Brave, and I'm back for another review of The Chi. This is Season 6, Episode 9. We are picking up right where we left off, and this episode is titled The Aftermath. So let's jump right into the review. Alright, so we actually start this episode off with Victor. He's dressed in all black. He's at one of Duda's establishments because he's looking for him. At this point, he feels like if he can take Duda out, then everybody's problems will go away. Here's the thing, that's not true at all. And it's crazy because he ended up running into Bakari, and Bakari's the one who's like, that ain't gonna help. Like, the way Duda has all this mess going on and how Duda has his hands in all these different pots, baby, y'all problems is not about to go away, right? So here's the thing. When I saw Victor in all black ready to take somebody out, I said, okay, wait a second. Is Trig back? Are we getting Trigger Finger Trig? What's about to go down this season? I like where we going. Because me personally, I hate the fact that Victor became so, oh, I'm a community leader, blase blah. Like, no, let's bring that hood stuff back. Because from what I can recollect, Trig was supposed to be even harder than Reg was originally. I don't know how we got to this version of Victor. But nonetheless, let's go ahead and move on to the next scene. So we actually see Papa and Jake. They are at Smokey's or whatever. Jake trying to get some free food. But Papa is like, listen, sir, I'm the one who work here. My register can't be short because of you. And I'm like, okay, you know what, Papa, you right. Let's let Papa keep the job that he have or whatever. And when Papa ended up asking about Gemma, because as we all know, Jake and Gemma, they still supposed to be together. According to Jake, she doing her thing and she's hanging out with Bakari's sister. Well, baby, you about to lose your girl to Bakari's sister. Okay? Like, Gemma, she was hella interested last season, or should I say the first part of this season, in Bakari's sister, so you might want to watch out. So next thing you know, Emmett comes in, he tells Jake he can't have no more free food. I'm trying to figure out where he going because he have on a real nice suit. And baby, when I tell you, I was not ready for the next thing that happened, because you can literally see Zay. I think his name was Zay. Yeah, the guy Zay. He has a gun in his hand. He is ready to take out anybody at Smokey's. But we already know that he's aiming for Emmett. So Emmett actually sees that it's about to, get shot up. He tells Jake and Papa to get down, tell everybody to get down or whatever. And y'all, Smokey's got blasted on. Smokey's got completely shot up. Now, y'all, I feel like in that exact moment, Emmett definitely knew that they have crossed some lines that they may not be able to come back from, as far as him and Rob. Because now that you've crossed Duda in the way that you did, you tried to take him out, oh, baby, it's about to be real bad. And this situation could have got real bad. You know what I'm saying? Papa could have got hurt, Jake, any other customers. Also, on top of that, financially, I'm not even sure if, these types of things are covered by insurance. Like, your place getting shot up, I'm not sure if that's covered under insurance. So, you about to be hurting in the pockets area, too, because now, Duda ain't even about to pay for this getting fixed. So now, y'all, Emmett is on his toes at this point because he back at the house. He has a huge, I don't know the name of guns, y'all, sorry, but he has this bigger rifle type thing, and he's standing out the window. I guess in his mind, he's trying to protect his home. You got Keisha in the background you don't need to be standing by the window. You need to do this. You need to do that. You need to settle your debt with Duda, blah, 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 blah. He getting sick and tired of her, always having something to say. And honestly, here's the thing. I feel like Emmett should have never gotten involved with Duda to this capacity. I have no idea how we even got this far with Emmett and Duda. But, Keisha, you do be nagging. Let's not pretend. You be nagging and you did want that house. So you knew what came with it. So after that, these two, they start to go back and forth. The conversation ended up getting a little heated, and they both had to calm themselves down. You know what I'm saying? In that moment, because at the end of the day, they both played a part in, number one, this relationship going south, because he was complaining about the fact that she don't even smile. And yeah, Keisha has been walking around with an attitude for a while. I don't know what's going on with her. I mean, I know we did see her go to therapy and all of that, but just like their relationship, I feel like once they officially got together and they were out of that honeymoon stage, everything got super real, and I feel like they are still trying to play grown-ups. Something about their situation is still giving we're playing grown-ups. Now, as far as Emmett goes, sir, you are way in too deep with Duda. I get it. You were trying to provide. You were trying to be the big man on campus as well. Because let's not forget, the way you got Smokies was shady. But once you became the owner of Smokies, or whatever, you sat up there and wanted to be the big man around Chicago, doing a bunch of extra stuff that you didn't need to do. Like buying your baby mama cars and y'all getting a big house and all of this. You got super materialistic, sir. Like, you and Keisha could have just stayed in an apartment, if we want to be completely honest. And y'all would have been fine. But no. Y'all was over here trying to keep up with the Joneses. So honestly, Keisha and Emmett, they gotta come up with a plan. So that way they can get themselves out of this sticky situation with Duda. Because, baby, he's coming, okay? And I don't think he cares who gets hit. For sure he wants to take Emmett out, but that don't mean that he don't want to also take out the people around Emmett. You know what I'm saying? Now, speaking of Duda, baby, we get into this little meeting that he having with the gang. I can't even remember what the gang was. It was like 83rd Street or something. See, they took that whole storyline out. I think that was season 2. Maybe season 1. They took the whole gang storyline out. And now I'm just like, I don't even know what the gang name is. But nonetheless, they're meeting up. He's like, nah, it was Emmett. Emmett gotta die, right? Straight up, flat out. That's what he said to the crew. Or whatever. And then he looks over to Zay, and he's like, oh, did you send out those warning shots? And he was like, yeah, I did. I shot up Smokies. Oh, baby. He's not happy, okay? Dude, I ain't happy because he's like, dude, you're ruining business. See, here's the thing about Zay. Zay's not smart, okay? He think that he know what he doing, but he's not. And I feel like Zay will make mistakes just like this. Now, he did say he made sure not to hit nobody or whatever, but I'm just like, dude, you could have absolutely hit somebody and not know it. Be so for real. And then Bakari, because y'all know he down with Duda Crew, he realizes that Papa was working that night. And you already know him and Papa is close. They like brothers at this point. So he trying to dip out, probably to go check on Papa. And Duda stops him from doing that. Alright, so you have Bakari being told that, you know, this gang is his only family and he need to go sit down somewhere. Now, you can literally see it on his face where he's contemplating how in the world did I get in this position. Number one, he's cool with Emmett, even though Duda's yelling to the rooftop that Emmett gotta go. You know what I'm saying? He's cool with Emmett. Also, the realization that these dudes do not care about who you actually love because they are willing to take out anybody. Because Papa could have clearly gotten hit. Zay wouldn't have cared. Neither would have Duda. You know what I'm saying? I feel like Bakari is realizing he's again in over his head. Now back to Duda. He of course knows that Emmett gotta go. Because Emmett is the one who called him and was like, oh, make sure you're by yourself or whatever. So he noticed Emmett is one person. But also they trying to figure out who's the other person that shot at Duda. And they're like, oh, maybe it's Rob. And he was like, nah, it wouldn't be him. Underestimated, right? However, everybody knows who his mama is. And you and his mama feuded. So, put two and two together. So, dude, I was like, okay, y'all go check the hospitals and finish the job. And the only thing I keep thinking is, well, y'all better get Rob about that hospital. Because Duda and his people is coming. All right, so next scene, we actually do see a glimpse of Rob. He's still in the hospital. Moving on, we have Emmett talking to his dad, Darnell. Darnell has to let him know, son, you're an idiot. Because why in the world would you actually call Duda to set it up? Like, he automatically is going to know that you're in on this and you're behind it. So, Darnell is trying to tell him, like, well, you need to convince, Duda that you're more valuable alive than dead. So that puts an idea into Emmett's head. And he's like, all right, well, I'm about to go to Smokies or whatever. And Darnell, of course, because he's ride or die for his son, which I love about their relationship at this point, he's going to go with him. Wherever he's going, he's going with his son. And one thing that I do appreciate is the fact that even though Emmett is grown or whatever, and we have seen Emmett make so many poor decisions, you know what I'm saying, as an adult, Darnell is always right there. He's always there to help him pick up the pieces and try to, figure things out and how to fix the problem. And I love that in a relationship. But let's go ahead and move on because we see somebody creeping and crawling through some hallways because they are trying to finish a job, but maybe that body's not there, okay? Now, one thing that I peeped is that it was Nook who was in the hospital trying to find, who that person was. And the crazy thing about it is that we already know that him and Rob have a connection. They had like a friendship. Well, not so much a friendship, but like they were cool with each other. You know what I'm saying? So that's even more messed up that Nook could have possibly took Rob out. You know what I'm saying? But speaking of Rob, baby, his mama got that body moving, okay? Like, she has to explain to Tiff how we're moving him because whoever he tried to shoot at, they're going to be looking for him or whatever because Tiff don't know. You know what I'm saying? She not really into how gangs operate. She just know that she wants her man to get better. So moving forward, all of Rob's, medical stuff will be happening at the house, at the big house. All right, so we're going to move on over to Emmett. He's at Smokies. He's cleaning up. Both of his parents are there. And his mom said a statement that I'm just like, whoo, that's heavy. Because she was like, Emmett, I'm not burying you. I can't bury you. You know what I'm saying? Because at the end of the day, no mother wants to have to bury their own child. You know what I'm saying? So she wants to know how deep is he into this mess with Duda. And he looks at his dad, and in that moment, he became like a little boy to be like, Dad, like, is it okay for me to tell Mom this? You know what I'm saying? But of course, Darnell is there to support him. Like, go ahead. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's the vibe. Even though there was no words spoken in that little moment, you can absolutely tell that Emmett was nervous to tell his mother how deep things have gotten with Duda. Now, in this moment, Emmett tells his mom how deep things are, and her response is like, oh my God. Like, she can't even believe that things have gotten this bad, number one. But also Darnell, he's trying to like reassure her that like, Emmett got this, Emmett gonna handle it. And according to Emmett, he has the gift of gab. So he gonna try to talk his way out of this or whatever. And I feel like in this moment, we really got to see a real family's like reaction to getting out of something like this, because you have his mother who doesn't want to lose her child, her only child at that, you know what I'm saying? You have that situation and all the feelings that come with that. Then you also have the dad who's trying to be super supportive of his son and be like, no, you got this. You know what I'm saying? And Emmett, who is breaking down crying to his mom at this point, because number one, he never wanted it to get this deep. You know what I'm saying? He never wanted his mother to feel like, he's going down the wrong path, especially to the point where he almost off somebody. But at the same time, he has to stand up and be a man and figure his way out. Like, there's just a lot of emotions happening in this scene. All right, so moving on, we do see a scene with Papa and Bakari. And, Papa is stressed out because he could have got shot. You know what I mean? So he's trying to tell Bakari, like, listen, like, you don't think this stuff is getting too deep? Like, I could have lost my life. You know what I mean? And on top of that, you should be tired of ripping and running these streets. And Bakari's like, I know, but at the same time, it's hard to get out of. You know what I mean? And I feel like when I saw those two hug each other, I'm just like, please let both of them make it to the end of the season. Because I can't go through losing Papa or Bakari at this point, because they are like brothers now. Now, moving on, we get to a scene with Nook having to report to his daddy, aka Doodah, that Rob's name was on the chart, however, he wasn't there. So, Doodah feels like he needs to go ahead and step in, because he can't really trust Zay at this point. Because Zay is over here talking about, I can go find Rob. Sir, go sit down somewhere. Zay is already getting on my nerves. But he tells him, no, you need to stay on, tracking down Emmett. But Rob, he still wants Rob taken out. So if Nook has to go find Tiff, go find her to go find Rob. I'm like, this is too much. Not you about to hunt the man down. But baby, here come the plot twist of it all, okay? The plot twist is the fact that Doodah has set it up to where Bakari's sister is actually an informant, okay? He's trying to keep tabs on what Bakari got going on or whatever. And Zay is telling him how, Bakari, he wouldn't let his sister live with him because, he probably don't want her living with the Jacksons or whatever, because hell, he barely there. If we want to be technical, he's barely living there. And they ended up giving her 30 racks, y'all. $30,000 so she can rat out her own brother if he doing something wrong. That's crazy to me. And she's willing to cross her brother. Now, baby, this is the part that had me hollering, though. When Doodah was like, yeah, will you just make sure you let her know that I'm paying her so that way she can spy on her brother. I'm not paying her for that little music that she trying to do. And I'm just like, sir, if only you knew she done took that money trying to, establish herself as a music artist. If only you knew. Because one thing about Doodah, he is trying to keep track of where them dollars is being spent. First of all, the way he looked at Zay when he found out that he even gave her $30,000, it was given, nigga, I know you didn't give that little girl 30,000 of my dollars. So that way she can go spy on Bakari, yet she playing in Gemma's face and not playing around with Bakari. We don't even see her with Bakari. Baby, one thing about Doodah, he always trying to keep them ducks in a row, don't he? But let's go ahead and move on. So we actually do get a chance to see Emmett work his little gift to gab, because he was able to convince Bakari to join his side. Because at first, Bakari wasn't really rocking with it, because at the end of the day, he works for Doodah. But Emmett, I see what you're doing. You might have something here with this gift to gab thing. But let's go ahead and move on. Y'all, Bakari's sister is out here asking for more money. Girl, you haven't even been spying on your brother. No, you cannot get no more money. Now, we do see a glimpse of Bakari having a conversation with Nook. And he's basically trying to get it in his ear that maybe Nook wants to, distance himself from Doodah and possibly take over. You know what I'm saying? Because at this point, you got to find some people that's a part of the crew that's tired of Doodah and they want more for themselves. We gonna see if Nook will turn his back. But moving on, this is what got me, y'all. Because Jake is still selling clothes out the house, right? That's cool or whatever. But why is Zay here? Zay walks in or whatever. He looking at the pieces. And I'm just like, Jake, this nigga just shot at y'all. He can't come up in this house. Then, like, the vibe that I was getting when it came to the interaction between Jake and Zay was like Jake didn't even know who he really was. Like, that's the vibe that I was getting. I'm like, how do you not know who this is? You should know that this man runs with Doodah's crew. Then on top of that, when he handed Jake that stack of money out of nowhere, talking about this is an investment, I'm just like, Jake, really? You gonna take the money? Who else is running around just handing people money like that? You should already know it's from Doodah. You've lived with Doodah. You've seen the type of stuff that Doodah does. You know what I'm saying? You saw what he did to Jim and Daddy. I don't understand how it's not clicking in your brain that this money could possibly be coming from Doodah. You know your brother don't even mess with Doodah. What are you doing, Jake? But you so busy thinking that you grown, and baby, you are not. Alright, so in the next scene, we actually see Victor and Fatima, or whatever. And he has now started back smoking because he's stressed out. And we already know he's stressed out because of the whole Doodah situation. Now, Fatima is going on and on about how, he had a gun and blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, girl, before he was Victor, he was Trig, which I'm sure is short for trigger, okay? Because he will pull the trigger. And like he said, once a killer, always a killer, or whatever. So she gets up, she storms off or whatever. And like, my whole thing about Fatima is that, yes, girl, you have the new and improved Victor, but that man has a past, okay? And he got some ties with some people that you may not be too privy to or fond of, that's like really out in these streets. So either you gonna ride with this man or you not. Because one thing I will say is that Imani would never be a Fatima. Absolutely not. Imani was really riding for her man. Fatima, she a little uptight and bougie. But I digress. Let's go ahead and move on. Alright, y'all. So then we got this scene with Tracy and old girl who was Shy's girlfriend. Baby, if these two aren't about to give us some lesbian scenes, I'm not interested. Moving on. Alright, y'all. So now we jump on over to the booth. Okay. You got Maisha spitting some rhymes. We see Bakari's sister. She hops in the booth or whatever. They have a little bop together. Okay, fine. They finally work together. Gemma likes the sound of it. Gemma actually looked really cute in this scene, especially with the short haircut. Now, after the studio session, Maisha, she wanted to hang out with them or whatever. But they was like, no, we about to go home. They did not go home. They ended up going to get something to eat together, being all flirty or whatever. And I'm just like, okay, wait till Jake catch y'all. Or one of his friends catch y'all. But Maisha peeped on social media that these two, they went to go get something to eat without her. Like, she could have came. Oh, right, because this was like a little date for y'all. Okay, bet. I cannot wait to see that unravel. Moving on. Y'all, we got Zay having a conversation with Emmett. That is not what I think was going to go down. But, baby, Emmett is working this gift to gab, okay? Because he's putting it in Zay's mind that, listen, whoever takes Doodah out, they about to become the big man on campus. But here's the thing. Zay, he's like peeping game that Emmett is trying to get him to take Doodah out. He's like, nah, I ain't trying to do that or whatever. And here's the crazy part. You have Emmett telling him, like, no, y'all actually need me in the operation because without me shaking hands and kissing babies at this restaurant, a part of y'all operation gonna fall apart because y'all already know they probably funneling money through Smokies and all kind of stuff. Number one. Number two, he is the face of Smokies. Everybody knows that he owns Smokies. Everybody knows that, is good food there. Emmett's there, blah, 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 blah. At the same time, if Emmett's not there, who's going to run Smokies? Like, we surely don't want Nook running Smokies or Zay. So I do think that Emmett was right. Those are street dudes. Don't nobody want to come into the establishment with just some street dudes running it? Absolutely not. Now, one thing I will say is that Zay, baby, he is one person that will, get things started real quick. Because when he put that gun out on Emmett and then put it to his head, I'm like, Emmett, how many times people gonna put guns to your head? you have really got to leave Duda and his crew alone because they are just too trigger happy. Now, in the next scene, we do see that, what's his name? Emmett and Keisha, they go see Rob or whatever, and Tiff is there too. Tiff is like, his mama freaked out, so that's why he had to get moved to the house or whatever. And when Emmett goes to see Rob, the two ladies have a conversation about how, they can't believe that they're going through this. They thought that they would have actually hit Duda. This could have been over. Blah, blah, blah. So basically, Emmett came back into the room because Rob mama was like, I don't know you, so no, you cannot come up in here with my son. She come outside like, who are y'all? I don't know y'all. What's y'all story? So Emmett and Tiff, as well as Keisha, break down their friendship and relationship past. I'm just like, y'all couldn't just say we went to high school together? Or you couldn't just say, Tiff, like, oh, this is my child's father, but I'm friends with his girlfriend. Like, the way they broke it down, I just could not take them seriously. And then when they got to how many kids they got amongst the group, I just definitely was like, all right, y'all, what are we doing? So you have his mom going on this whole little speech about family values, and Rob has magically awoken, y'all. So he has gotten up to the point where he has grabbed the walker and is walking out of the room. Y'all, I want this show to be so for real. Like, I was following y'all, I was rocking with the story, but not him coming out with the walker already. Where's the nurse to check his vitals? Y'all, I'm just gonna move on from that scene. I'm so tapped out when Rob walked out. I'm so tapped out. But y'all, this is what really had me hollering. In the next scene, you have Duda talking to Zay. And Zay is trying to explain to him how they need to keep Emmett alive because he's going to work the front of the house. Baby, the way Duda is looking at his people that work for him, this whole episode, I'm cracking up. Because he's like, why did I hire this fool? I think that is what he's thinking every time he look at them. Well, baby, let me tell you how Zay played his cards wrong, because him trying to stick up for Emmett, that got him hemmed up, okay? Duda, he may be old, but baby, he will still, put hands on people. So he got Zay hemmed up, got his arms wrapped around his throat. And he's trying to figure out, so did you and Emmett set me up? And he like, no, I ain't trying to set you up, but I did take a meeting, at the time that you got, almost killed. And he's like, well, who you taking a meeting with? Now, in that moment, I was surprised that Zay did not say who he took a meeting with, because then Duda ended up asking him, like, where's Emmett? And Zay's like, well, he said he ain't gonna be hard to find. Now, let's go ahead and move on, because we have Bianca coming to see Alicia. Oh, who is Alicia? That's Rob's mom. I could not remember her name for the life of me. But nonetheless, she ends up seeing Tiff or whatever, and because Tiff is the one who let her in the house. And, they sit down for a minute, and Tiff, she's smoking or whatever. She ends up passing the blunt. And she's like, oh yeah, this is some good weed or whatever. They chit-chatted up to the point where they exchange information, and Bianca's like, oh, maybe I can get your weed put into my cigar lounge. Y'all, do we trust Bianca? Like, I feel like I can't get a read on her. Like, I don't know if she's really riding for Alicia, but she just getting a D from Duda, or is she really on Duda's side? I just don't know. Y'all let me know where y'all think Bianca stand. Because when she talked to Alicia, and Alicia was asking her, like, how close are you to Duda or whatever, it did not seem like she was swaying towards Alicia's side. Like, she was kind of like, ooh, I don't know. Do I want to cross Duda, or do I cross Alicia? We shall see. All right, so in the next scene, we actually see Keisha go talk to her nagging mama, Nina. So here's the thing. Nina is worried about her daughter or whatever and her safety because, Emmett just got them into some things. But at the same time, baby, we got some tea on Nina and Dre. Y'all, Nina and Dre ain't together no more. So my real question is, did the actress who plays Dre get so busy that she couldn't come back to the show this season, or what? Because they just kind of wrote it off as, oh, she was still checking for her ex-girlfriend, so I let her go. I'm just like, oh, okay. But aren't y'all married? Like, do you need to go through the process of a divorce? What's going on, Nina? One thing I will say is that it is good to see Keisha and her mom back in a good place because y'all know things were a little bit rocky when they had that therapy session at the top of this season. Now, moving on, Gemma, she's confiding in her twin, aka her daddy girlfriend, what's her name, Tiara, and they talk about the fact that she kissed Bakari's sister. She kissed Brittany. And Tiara's like, well, you're young, you're exploring. There's a lot more people who should do more exploring when they're young. Now, I do agree with Tiara on that, but I also understand the fact that in society and a lot of cultures, exploring is frowned upon. Like, let's be honest. Now, one thing that stands out to me, though, is the fact that, Gemma, you also have a boyfriend. So, how is that going to work out? With you out here kissing other women, and he may not be a fan of that? Like, one thing's for sure at this point, Gemma gonna do something, and it's gonna be cheat, okay? Because, baby, it's the same thing that she did with Kevin. But we're gonna go ahead and move on. Victor, he has this conversation with Jake, and baby, it was so frustrating to watch. Basically, Victor is trying to say, dude, you're in business with Duda. Jake is so dumb that he's like, no, it was one of Duda's boys. Dummy, it's all connected. Also, you should already know that if any of Duda's boys come through here, they own some other type of stuff. They are not really here to support you. Also, what person is just going to hand you over $30,000 or how much ever money that he gave him? Like, nobody's just going to hand you a stack of money and be like, all right, here, do whatever you want with it. It's an investment. Jake, you are young and dumb. But according to Jake, he got it. Baby, first of all, you ain't got it because you have too many people in and out your apartment. So I know you ain't got it. Victor is trying to tell him to come to the little men's group, but Jake is not interested. Hell, he wasn't interested the first time you invited him some weeks ago. So when Victor leaves or whatever, we see that he's sliding in people's DMs. Baby, when I tell you Jake and Gemma deserve each other, I'm so sick of these little kids because they out here living like old people. But we're going to move on. So we see Maisha, she's talking to Papa because it's clear that her feelings were hurt, that Brittany and Gemma, they decided to go eat without her. And she's also frustrated because her career, it isn't taking off how she feels like it should have. And honestly, y'all, I wish that she would just go to school. Not trying to be funny, like, I just wish that more of these kids went to college. Or at least send them to a trade school. Send them to community college. They don't even have to go to a 4-year. I just think it's weird that for this show, these kids, it's like college is not a thing. That's weird. But yeah, I feel like she can still do the rap thing. But girl, go to school because Maisha was smart. I remember when Maisha wanted to go to school. Let that girl go. Now these two, they get a little googly eye with each other, but right when the moment started to heat up, she get a text from Kevin. I kind of forgot that she was with Kevin, but we're going to go ahead and move on. Y'all, we see this little men's meeting, and Bakari is talking about having a dream about Coogie, and how, Coogie wanted him to have a better life than this, and how, he wants to try to do better. Baby, only thing I kept thinking was, man, this men's group is getting smaller and smaller. Emmett, he over here jumping up because he feel like he ready to talk to Duda. I said, all right now. He might put a bullet in you, buddy. Now, we actually do see him go talk to Duda. And baby, one thing about Emmett, all because he runs a barbecue joint, he think he the most important man in the city. I promise you. It cracks me up the way Emmett be talking like he really is that guy, and all he do is run a barbecue joint. Like, okay, sir, relax. So Emmett is basically trying to convince Douda that he can help him, and he should keep him around. So Douda, he plays him because he basically tells him, okay, I can spare your life, but a life for a life. Baby, he wants Emmett to take out Alicia. I said, now Douda, that's a dumb request because Emmett couldn't even take you out. So you already know he gonna botch the job with Alicia. But y'all, that was The Chi. Let me know what y'all thought about episode 9 of The Chi. Go ahead and like, comment, and subscribe to my channel, and I will talk to y'all in my next review. Bye, guys.